doesn't seem to be connected to the internet. What are you talking about, Ralph? I'm on 5G. Make sure you're do you need the internet to do that?
Well, I was gonna work.
Make sure do you need the internet to do that? Yikes. That's not good.
Could you max out that audio?
Yeah, let me switch it. See what that does.
Remember we used to use the microphone?
Yeah, I do remember.
How come we don't
This one
anymore?
we're taking calls.
Oh.
Hello, hello, hello.
Remember we used to use the microphone?
Okay, good. We're good. Do that. Let our patrons know. Let our villagers know.
You like this color, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty. Was that which one is that?
Vintage, but.
The vintage one?
You always like that, like, kind of time period.
Yeah, 70s.
Yeah.
Take hits from the 80s, but do it sound so crazy. I mean, it's not personal. You do what works for me. I do what works for you. And I dress it. What I was blessed with. Never been arrested for nothing domestic. And I chill the way you meant me. In a Jessie, tattoo Essie. Smoke my Nestle. No man rap, ask at where my check be. Problem with ya, I say it directly. Went from all the sweets, starved to eat. From no holes and shows in the nausea sweets. Now I be that cat that be hard to meet. Got numbers from girls that used to hardly speak. Bad, 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 bad boy. You make me feel so good. You make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good. Come on. Bad, 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 bad boy. You make me feel so good. You make me feel so good. You feel so good. Mace got the ladies. Yeah, yeah. Puff drive Mercedes. Yeah, yeah. Take hits from the 80s. Yeah, yeah. But do it sound so crazy? Yeah, yeah. Oh, look. There's a Vimeo link now. You
It's
see
always
that?
been there.
Livestream link. Fireside, y'all. Okay, post that there. Time to chill. Boom. Publish now. Bang. All right, so we got that. We got the village, and then Middle America, and then we'll be live. We're live now. Just FYI. Just FYI. When you get this letter, I'll be a million miles away.
Wait.
When you get this letter. Yay! All our crew's here. We got Leah in the house. James Marshall. Yes, we got the Pantera ticket stub pictures. Get a job, Vin.
Why don't we just do that right now?
I have lots of jobs. I have millions of jobs. Millions of them. Okay. Couple things, guys. Can you hear us?
When are you guys going to start reacting to interesting music again?
Thank you, El Chong. It's nice to meet you.
Appreciate that.
Can you guys hear us? Vin is the economy. Sound is good. What about does it look like a Japanese movie? You know, where like the syncing is all off? Mm-hmm. Do you need the internet for that?
Well, like I said, I was going to work on Patreon.
Oh, you're right. Video is good, no delays, but it's laggy. What do you mean it's laggy, James? Is it laggy for everybody else or just James? Fireside. All right, we got everybody. Boom. Boom bap. Okay, good. What's everybody thinking about today? Audio is out of sync. Damn it. There it is again. The audio is out of sync. Makes me so hungry. Why is my audio out of sync?
Do you want me to? Can I use my
I'm not.
I can use my phone's hotspot.
No.
They gave me 10G.
That's okay. It's slightly off. Don't worry about it. The audio is a second or behind. I'm being forced to self-quarantine because one of my coworkers has the coronavirus. That sucks, bro. Hope you guys are okay. Volume's good now. Okay. Let Dorian run the stream tech. Where's Ghosty? Ghosty, we needed this room for the Quarantine Chronicles that we're shooting, so Ghosty and the other guys have been bounced out, but they shall make their return very soon.
No, Becky, I was going to use the hotspot from my phone so I can work on Patreon.
The Stewism. The Stewism. Thank you, Stewism. That's a pretty cool name, Stewism. Dreading being sent into New York City on Monday. I bet. Enjoying it, keeping up. Thank you very much, Graham Rowan. Hugs from Portugal. Stay safe. How's it been going in Portugal? You guys good? Not sure if this is the right time. Do you think Trump task force bring up minorities is to boost the polls? I'm not sure if he brought up minorities. I don't see Trump doing anything to boost polls. I think Trump is so arrogant that he believes he's just going to run all over the election, and he probably will, considering who he's up against. Hello, fellow Earthlings. We need more Metallica. Well, Mr. We need more Metallica.
You're in luck.
You might be in luck. Who knows? What's up, Kai? Kai in the house? Pretty sure I'm going to lose my job soon. The signs are all there. Speaking of which, I have to work tonight at 10 Central. Yikes. Why would you lose your job, Taffer? Like, aren't you the foundation of that whole company? Those evil bastards. Thoughts on the death of Kim Jong-un? I mean, anytime a human being dies, it's a terrible thing.
I just hope that it's better for those people over there.
Sadat.
Because of his death. Sometimes you think, oh, this is going to be better for them, and then it actually gets worse. So, I just hope that things are better.
Yeah, I'm, apparently his sister is supposed to take over. So, inshallah, she won't be a complete lunatic. Well, he's in a vegetated state or whatever, but apparently his sister's worse. So, ugh. You love the show Lost. Yes, we do love the show Lost.
We never finished it, though. Don't tell me the ending.
Zonia with the pun of the day.
Vin already saw the ending.
I hear he's undead.
Oh, God.
Get it? Undead? Kim Jong-un. China will install a puppet for the upcoming war. Interesting. Vin, please check your email. I will, Kai. I'll have to look for you because we get hundreds of emails a day, but yeah, I'll check.
I am creating a thumbnail right now for tomorrow, and then I am going to go on Patreon and respond to messages. Oh, that's a really sad picture. Woo! I don't know what the kids were cooking downstairs, but there was a lot of smoke. I'm glad there's another adult down there.
Zombieholic. Hello, all. Thank you very much, Zombieholic. When do you think we'll hear more Fear Factory, such as Piss Christ and Replica? I'm not sure, but those are interesting song titles to me. I thought I had coronavirus. I drank some bleach and feel much better.
Stop that. Stop that right now. Who is that?
That was, who was, I forgot who it was.
Right there.
Where? Tejas. Oh, it's my man Tejas. Of course. I got to do my man Tejas. How much to tip to hear Alien Ant Farm Flesh and Bone? Is that a band? Alien Ant Farm? Do Violence, Bodies on Bodies. I just think we did a Violence song. Dread and the Fugitive Mind, Megadeth. Happy anniversary to Vin. Please check your email. It's like saying, God, please listen to those prayers. Kind of, yeah. Kind of. Whoa, they did there is a band that did a cover of a Michael Jackson song. That's pretty awesome. Go easy on me. I threw my shoulder out. I'm in severe pain.
Oh, God. That doesn't sound fun.
I heard he's just Kim Jong-il. Finally made it here live after never being able to catch you live. Let the Bleach Junkie thing play themselves put. Right on, Brian. I'm not particularly certain what I'm agreeing to, but it sounded epic, so I'm with you. Happy anniversary to Papa Roach Classic Infest album, top new metal album. Praise Abort by Till Lindemann, singer for Rammstein. Not too difficult to figure out what it's about, but it's fun. Okay. Would you guys consider doing book reviews? We actually have one book review on the channel. It was Catcher in the Rye. And I was supposed to do a book club. And then...
I almost think you were supposed to do a follow-up to that one, like a part 2.
Yeah, I did Catcher... Oh, this is old school Vin and Sori. That's crazy. And somehow the video got demonetized. Damn, YouTube hates us, man. There's the Catcher in the Rye book review that I did. It was part 1.
When you were talking about it?
Yeah. That's insane. That was an old school video, man. It was like the 6th video we shot.
They always find a reason to demonetize.
I know. They hate us. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. I think I'm gonna I might actually do a book review. It's very interesting. Somebody just sent me an email about a book review. I might do it. Love your metal reaction, but Tool is legend. I agree, Stone Cold. I agree. Dakota Keck, howdy from Oklahoma. Thanks for doing some Rainbow in the Dark. I love Dio. He's my all-time favorite. Also, y'all should try out some Elf, Dio's blues rock. Oh, Dio has another band called Elf. That's interesting. Yeah, we might check that out. Dragon Force will be... Have you watched the Bulls Netflix docos? I watched the first episode. Pretty good so far. Oh yeah, for sure. I've been watching that like crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been watching the Bulls documentary. I'm very, very...
yes.
I can't wait. Gangnam Style. Hi, folks. Love your channel. My Forbidden Sin. Best reaction videos ever. Hi from Sweden. What's up, Sweden? Good to see you. Much respect to Sweden.
That's kind of different. What do you think about that?
Yeah, use it. 12 Rules for Life. I'm a fan. Vin and Sori, can you try reacting to Def Leppard? Name the song from Def Leppard you'd like us to react to. If you do a book review, maybe you should start with The Art of the Deal. I think I actually read The Art of the Deal, and I've used it a couple times. Is being a billionaire unethical? I don't believe that being a billionaire is unethical.
I mean...
I don't believe it's inherently unethical to be a billionaire.
I think what you do with your money is what makes it ethical or not. You can be someone who makes, $20,000 a year, but somebody who doesn't care to help anybody else out.
Right. Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. Let me see. Start with the Grapes of Wrath. Sori was reading Grapes of Wrath right before we started the channel. You seem to enjoy every Foo Fighters song you react to. That's true. With that in mind, crazy that Everlong hasn't been done yet.
That looks kind of fun, huh?
It does. It does. I'm glad for these firesides. Friggin' bored, man. I've been going crazy since getting laid off. Yeah, Zombieholic. How are things going for you? I know that you're laid off. Thank you, Florida98. Hey, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I would really appreciate if you guys reacted to Bloom by HUM. What's HUM? Is that the name of the actual band? HUM? Yeah, that's the name of the band, Bloom. Is it If You Are to Bloom? Is that the name of the song? If You Are to Bloom? Pour Some Sugar on Me. It's a stripper song. Now I really want to do it.
Oh my gosh.
How could that be a stripper song?
Pour
Some sugar on me? That'd be like really messy. Because they're all sweaty and shit.
Maybe that's what they're...
Ew.
Maybe that means the money.
That's so gross. Ugh. All the stuff that people find sexy, I find gross too. Remember that thong discussion we had? Really disgusting concept. Whoever came up with that first.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. You're so funny.
No, but even you admitted that when you really think about the thong thing, it's pretty freaking disgusting.
Yeah.
You guys like Deftones. Yes, I do.
You should just say that conversation. People will find it entertaining.
No, because they're all going to take your side on it.
I agree with you on it.
Well, yeah, now you agree with me on it.
So then they're going to take our side on it.
What a disgusting concept, huh? Hey, Patrick A, if you are in the chat, let me know. Or send me another email if you're in the chat.
From my head down to my feet.
Pour some sugar on me in the name of love. I'm hot, sticky, sweet from my head to my... Ugh. Def Leppard, Rock of Ages. Well, Vin, if you don't like thongs, then how do you deal with that pesky panty line? Been laid off 6 weeks, going back to work on Monday. Insane how much I'm looking forward to. I bet. Your beard is a sign of true virility and manhood. I agree, Sori hates it. But
what do I hate?
My beard. My sign of virility and manhood. Sori doesn't like it. I don't hate
your beard.
But I'm my own man. You see what I'm saying?
I don't hate your beard. I hate beards.
Vincent.
But I actually don't hate
Vincent is his own man, ladies and gents.
But I'm not sure if that's because I really don't hate your beard or if it's just that I
just saw a comment that said that you look great in lipstick. Love your channel. If you reviewed on Def Leppard Hysteria, Fooling or Armageddon, Pour Some Sugar on Me was so lame. The drummer of Def Leppard has one arm. No way. That's pretty crazy.
That is.
How do you do that with one arm? People are insane, huh? The talent they have.
Mm-hmm.
Out of pure curiosity, would you listen to more Alice Cooper? If so, then I do have a suggestion. Brutal Planet, because it's quite different from the rest of his work. You know, we listened to Alice Cooper, and then a manager that worked with some lady guitarist that was in that band sent us something, and we completely lost touch. We were supposed to, whatever. What is the biggest problem with modern Christianity, and how can Christianity evolve to better serve the modern world? I think the biggest problem with modern Christianity is the emphasis on the afterlife and the complete dereliction of duty to make the world that we're currently in a better place. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because people don't want to deal with a million-hour lecture, but there's a view of the world that the world is going to get progressively worse. And one famous preacher, who's probably the best preacher of our generation, in my opinion, basically said, trying to make the world a better place is like rearranging the furniture on the Titanic. And basically it's worthless. Let's just get everybody saved into the afterlife, and then, this world's going to hell in a handbasket. I think that is a number one problem with modern evangelical Christianity today, and I think a lot of people have suffered because of it. And I think the Republican Party has been able to, jump on that, and it has turned us into a voting bloc that is completely merciless when it comes to people in need. Because, yeah. So, anyway, I'd say that's the biggest problem. Can I give money right now for you to play Him, Wings of a Butterfly? I love your reactions. I think you would love the song. $20. Stone Cold. Direct reviews are $120. So,
and even still, we can't do them on a live stream because we will get everybody's super chats will get taken from us, and YouTube will take it all. So, and even we did a review the last time, which was like a really, really small band, and it still caused a lot of...
Yeah, it was an unsigned band, and we still got hit with that. pretty terrible. How about the issues of abuse in the church by priests?
I'm not surprised that YouTube will take all of, like, we don't get any of the revenue from any of our videos because they're all copyrighted. And that doesn't surprise me or even really bother me, like, because I expect it and I understand because we are putting a song from a band in our, even though I think that's a little behind the times, I feel like the band should recognize that that's actually giving them more.
Well, it's not the band. It's the band's label.
Well, whatever. It's still like the band's label. They're working all together. I just feel like those people need to kind of modernize. But even still, that like is not really a big deal. But when we do these, and if for some reason they try to take everybody's super chats, that offends me so much, and it makes me so angry because I would rather that YouTube says all the super chats are getting sent back to the people that sent it to you. Because I don't think that it's right that people are trying to send that to us and then YouTube just scoops it all up. Like, that's not right. Go ahead and take the ad revenue, from our videos, but don't take people's actual. I just think that's wrong.
Ariel, what happened to our Guns N' Roses reactions was an actual copyright strike, right? So, like Sori just said, 95% of our videos are demonetized. So what happens is you get a message from YouTube. It says this and this label has issued a copyright claim. So a copyright claim is when they take all the money, which is fine. That's our videos. That's what we do. We've done like 1,500 videos, like 1,458 of them have been demonetized. That's okay. But a copyright strike is when the record label reports your channel to YouTube. YouTube gives you a copyright strike, and if you get 3 of those in a 6-month period, they delete your channel. So we got a copyright strike from what's the band? Guns N' Roses, and so we took down the video, we deleted everything, and we're never doing them again for that reason. So that's why.
We still have them. They're still locked in our channel, so it doesn't mean that at some point we might be able to put them up on another forum for people, but for now, it's not an option.
Hey guys, I listened to a year-old Fireside chat the other day. It was with a Marine that seemed to be a lost soul. Both of you are awesome. I remember that conversation. I do. We've had some pretty deep conversations in Fireside chats. Always a Shakespearean ponder with you guys. To watch or not to watch? Why not? You're more interesting than my current dreams. I agree, Amy Lee. We were supposed to give you a surprise, and we failed miserably at that. Good Lord. Dakota Keck, probably Axl Rose. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably Axl Rose. Chris, I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, Chris. I almost put a UFO on the thumbnail of the main stage, which didn't even belong there.
Your review of Ride the Lightning made me rethink my opinion on the death penalty. That is awesome. Towards a pro-life ethic, y'all. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Can we get more dissection? It was a surprise that there wasn't any surprise.
You know what? That is why I never tell people when I'm going to do something, because there's just too many variables. But you're not like that. You're just like, and we're going to do this.
Utku Hassan. I won't be able to stay long, but I want to wish you a great stream. Thank you very much. Was I at the Korn Sick and Twisted tour in 2000? Yes, I was. It was April 8th at the Pepsi Arena. I'll never forget it. One of the best days of my life. It was also one of the saddest days of my life right afterward. I was so depressed.
Aww.
Because I'd been looking forward to this show for like half a year, and I finally got to the show, and it was everything I thought it was going to be, and then it was over just like that, and I had nothing to look forward to. I was so sad.
Well, we should have been married.
Vin, I miss seeing you debate people about topics you don't agree on. I don't know. Maybe somebody will bring something up here. We'll see. It was an electric chair. Sori saw the details in the cover. Yes, but yeah, Korn Sick and Twisted show 2000, man. And now I'm friends with my unbelievable stuff. This is John Melton, by the way. I had to make a new profile. Forgot my password. What's up, John? John Melton was like one of the first people I talked to way back in the day. Isn't the best day of your life the day you met Sori?
Just say it, babe. We already know.
Well, no, because you having Orion was a better day as far as me and you go than the first day I met you. Because we were like together, when I first met you, you were just kind of loud and,
He was married when we first met. So he was still in his previous relationship. So it's not like...
Whoa, Donald. Check email later for a song review. Donald, do me a favor. Delete that $100 and send that $100 to Vin and Sori merch. Go to PayPal and send that $100 to vinandsorimerch@gmail.com. Okay, Donald? So thank you very freaking much for that $100. But YouTube is going to fleece the hell out of you.
Donald, have you done 3 with us?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Donald, well, it's Donald. So delete that and send $75 to PayPal, vinandsorimerch@gmail.com. Yeah. So delete that 100, my brother, and then send it to PayPal. Thank you. I had the new Trivium lined up, and then we went with an old Trivium song. I think it's called What the Dead Men Say. I had that lined up, ready to download it to review, and then we did something else. What are your thoughts on Marilyn Manson, one of the greatest rock metal bands of all time? Ever listen to Portrait of an American Family? I think Manson was very, very intelligent in that he used... Most of my exposure to Marilyn Manson actually came from Christians who were trying to get him banned or boycotted or warn parents about the deleterious effect that Marilyn Manson was going to have on the minds of their children. So Manson was a genius at using Christian right outrage to promote his career. Mm-hmm. And it earned him a lot of free media and free press time. So anytime somebody's a hustler, I always appreciate it. How do you reconcile the problem of evil? So the problem of evil is a pretty broad term, and it deals with natural disasters, human evil, etc. And it's how do you reconcile the suffering of people with the concept of a good God? And there's lots of ways to handle that. I think for me, the quickest way I would handle it is to say that when Orion was first born, we carried him everywhere. If he was cold, we'd make him warm. If he was hungry, we'd feed him. If he was dirty, we'd change him. We took care of him all the time. And then one day I put him in a car and drove him to a place he'd never been to before. And then his mother and I held him down while 2 strange women he'd never met in his life jammed needles into his legs and caused him an extreme amount of pain from his relative perspective. And so in that moment, if he could talk, if I could reason with him, I'd say, look, bro, I've been good to you all this other time. And yes, I constructed this entire situation, and now you're in a lot of pain, and I let those people do that to you. But you should trust me from my previous record that there's a good reason that I did that, and maybe there's things I know that you don't. Maybe I cannot explain polio and measles, mumps, and rubella to you, but I'm not an anti-vaxxer, and so I put my child in a situation that caused him probably the most pain he'd ever experienced in his life up to that point.
Yeah, the needle broke when they were doing it too.
Yeah, the needle broke when it was just a horrible situation. But I had a good intention in causing him pain, and so that's just been my understanding of the pain in the world. Is that I'm not one of these people that's going to say God had nothing to do with it, and I don't believe that God is a divine reactor. He doesn't react to things. I believe that God has purposes and intentions behind our pain, and I believe that they're good, and I believe that based on God's previous track record with me in my life and the people I've met, that when this is all said and done, and the whole story is unveiled to us, I think we're all going to say, okay, that makes sense. And secondly, I wouldn't have changed it. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I've already had hundreds of those experiences in this life. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for the horrible shit that happened to me and happened to you, we wouldn't know each other. Because all of us in this community have been brought together by a music, and 95% of metal music is about pain and suffering. And it's in the pain and suffering that our artists create the best art. And it's also the mutual pain and suffering we've been through that creates a community that we're in right now, which led to you doing the GoFundMe thing, which led to our community going out and doing something good for him, which we've done for other people in the world. And so we're all connected to each other. And I believe that God has good purposes behind the pain that he inflicts on us. Scripture says that he does not willingly, malevo, from his heart, afflict the children of men. So that's how I reconcile the problem of evil in a roundabout way. Try reacting to Metallica Through the Never. We may react to that, but there's another music video thingy that we'll probably do pretty soon here.
No, I've never seen the TV series Preacher.
That any and all good outweighs the bad. Good analogy with the vaccines, but doesn't answer the question of all powerful and not good, or vice versa. I might come to agree that all suffering has a reason. Well, the vaccine analogy is helpful in the sense that the baby doesn't know a thing about polio, and it's so over his head that I don't have the time to explain it to him. He just has to trust in the other good things that I've done up to that point to say, I don't know why you're doing this, but there must be a good reason for it, right? And so if God has given me children and life and a wife and music and chocolate and cake and sex and a warm blanket in the winter and air conditioning and lemonade in the summer, if God has given us all these good things, then I can trust that when something bad happens, that he has a good intention and a good reason behind it. That's kind of my perspective. Thought on Trump claiming that he was being sarcastic regarding the disinfectant comment. I think that's complete and total bullshit.
I don't think he was being sarcastic either.
He wasn't being sarcastic. I think he should have just stuck to his guns and just said the truth. I thought that much like the Nancy Pelosi ice cream thing, I thought the media blew that way out of proportion. He should have just kept it moving and gone on with it. But you could tell that he was very insecure about the way people were coming after him. And so that's what he did. And I thought that was poor strategy on his part. Very true. I've been in serious depression after my boyfriend died and no therapy or meds helped me. Nothing but one Evanescence song. So there you go. Right. Tough stuff. I'm sorry your boyfriend died. That's horrible.
Jeez. Who was that?
That's our person. That's Amy Lee Forever. Rahmatullahi Rabarakatu.
Oh, that's terrible.
Mr. Killer. Hope things are going well with you over there in Saudi. Tonight from the Smashing Pumpkins. Sold her soul to let her enjoy ice cream. Yeah. Right. I said that about Nancy Pelosi. She sold her soul to the devil. Let her enjoy her ice cream. That's funny. Eaten by Ghouls, Demons and Wizards, Fiddler in the Green, based on a true story. The lead singer witnessed 2 fatal car accidents in a week. Jeez. The song is about the Reaper reuniting the victims in heaven. God almighty.
Whoa, that's weird.
That's what a fucking horrible world.
Years ago, man. We were in a prayer meeting and it was at my old house, and this vehicle came by, smashed into one of the cars that was parked on the side of the road. Flipped over like multiple times. It was the loudest, most, I don't know. It was such a freaky sound because you knew something really, really bad just happened. And then to go outside and see an SUV flipped over like right in front of my house. It was the craziest thing. And I didn't go over because I was like, somebody's dead. I mean, there's no way somebody's not dead. And if they're not dead, it's going to be really, really bad.
I was preparing myself to,
Yep.
When I was running to the car, I was preparing myself to, I was saying a little prayer and getting myself, I had to see a couple dead people, but.
Nobody was injured at all.
Nope.
The girl's nail polish wasn't even chipped or scratched. It was crazy. There was multiple people inside that vehicle and everybody walked out of it.
Yeah.
I really believe that's because we were praying at that moment.
Well, and then the other thing is that the dad, because the guy was driving drunk and his two daughters were in the back seat, so the dad went after the guy who was driving.
Right.
So,
right.
So that was an interesting situation. So
the guy's shirt.
Yeah, I yanked him. It's like, hey, I was telling the other guy, like, Kyle, get this guy out of here. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh, my word.
Pretty terrible situation.
Oh, my word.
Tim Eubanks in the house. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting situation. Yeah, so many things happened in that span of time. I mean, good Lord. There's just a lot of crazy stuff that happened back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I had a thought today. I can never remember, there's effect and there's affect. I can never remember the difference between the two. Is effect how you affect something?
Yeah.
But affect is how it affects you?
Yeah, or how it affects the person directly.
Yeah. Okay.
Vin, Depp Leffert are really melodic, so you will like that aspect. Okay. You have barely scathed the surface of the vast Iron Maiden ocean, hoping for more. I really, really like the way he said that. Has Vin ever...
What is
Good
it?
Lord. Nothing. Let's just go. People asking weird questions. No, we still didn't get our stimulus check yet. I don't think we're going to get one.
That's our fault. We haven't done our taxes. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, not We've got a bunch of kids. We should definitely get it.
Yeah. But I feel like, yeah, you're right. We should get it. The lead singer Demons of and Wizards is Hansi from Blind Guardian and some other members from Isos. Whoa, that's like a super group. Remember Tomorrow by Iron Maiden. Would they react to Tarja songs on Nightwish with Tarja? Yeah, we should do some Tarja. We do an entire week of Tarja versus Floor. That Pony would have a hopefully that would, you do that for a week and then end it with the Imaginarium thing, and she'd like us again. She never texts me anymore. She hasn't texted me in like a year. That's all right.
It's not been a year.
It's been like a year. She doesn't text me. It's all right. I wouldn't text her either. The effect of pollution is bad on the atmosphere. I affect others through my choices. Ah, good one, Alan. Alan knows his stuff. Can you teach Sori how to beatbox? Why do you think I know how to beatbox, Johnny? Because I'm black? I don't know how to beatbox. I had a white friend that used to know how to, and he beatboxed pretty well. What's up, Brisman the Jedi, I think? All songs in Metallica Ride the Lightning can be heard on the early atoms of Iron Maiden and Killers. Check it out. Every riff is there. Whoa! I will check that out. That's pretty interesting. I see the Gigi Allen requests have followed us into the firesides. Can Sori air guitar? I think she can air guitar.
No, I can't.
Anthony, first fireside. Welcome, sir.
It just looks like he's just doing like this, but you have to get with the beat and...
There are 2 Guns N' Roses songs. How would we be able to? Well, I guess we could do Guns N' Roses and put it up on Vimeo.
Vimeo is not letting me say. Vimeo is saying we've uploaded too much this week, and I haven't uploaded in a month. So Vimeo's having an issue, and I can't get past it. There you have it. You can tell I have an attitude with Vimeo right now, right? I can't stand dealing with stupidity. It just really annoys me.
I know. Before I have to bed, I have one more suggestion. Custer, the live version by Slipknot. Reason, the live performance is a lot more energetic and outstanding than the studio version. Okay, Genesis Rhapsodos. I butchered your name. Send me an email with that link. vinandsori@gmail.com. Inshallah. Yo, peeps, you could put any copyright vid on website. Already set it up. No way.
Oh, I thought we decided not to do that. Oh, good.
Yeah, but we still have to put it up via Vimeo. Because even if we do it on YouTube...
No, she's saying we can upload it straight to the site.
How? Let me see. Let me go to this site.
Or maybe I'm misunderstanding her.
Oh my goodness, if we can do that. If we can do that, ladies and gents, this is really good. Look how quick it opens up and everything, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, she's so good. Look at that. Here's our new website. Oh, we're not supposed to do that yet, are we? We're not supposed to do that yet.
Oh, I don't know.
This is so good. Our Boogie's history. Our Boogie's history. Is that... Oh. No, Boogies aren't history. Boogies aren't history, Kai. I didn't say that. It's only for registered viewing now. Not yet. Okay, not yet. Sorry. The site is going to be so bomb. You have no idea. It's going to be really, really good. I'm very, very excited. Vin, your guess on who Biden will select for vice. He has to try to bring black voters to have a chance against Trump. Well, I just don't... Kamala's not going to get black folks. Black folks can't stand Kamala. I'm one of them. I know. We have meetings every week. There's I forgot what her name is. I just don't know. To be honest with you, there's nobody that Biden could. If he selected Michelle Obama, obviously that would be major for the black community. The problem is I think Michelle is great, but whoever his vice is going to have to be able to run the country. Because I don't want to make... I'm really, really trying not to mock Joe Biden's mental decline, but it's obvious that he's mentally declining. So, I just don't know if Michelle... within herself believes she's ready to be the actual president, because whoever the vice president for Biden's going to be, in the off chance they win, is going to have to basically be the president. So I just don't know who he could select. You know what I mean? The Teed. Hey, you remember the Teed?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, by the way, the Teed. I'm not big enough fan of the band to fork over 120, but you guys need to get on that new The Ghost Inside song called Aftermath. Their story is so inspiring. The song video shows it all. It was put out 3 days ago. Everybody's asking about that band, The Ghost Inside. That was like, you see like the 5th person that brought that up. I'll have to check. I'm a lifelong liberal, and I know the Democratic Party is absolutely decimated right now in terms of the trust of the people. If Michelle is vice, she'll just defer to her hubby. True, but I just don't know if what her political aspirations are. She might want to be president. And I think in 2024, she would have a shot, especially if she ran with AOC. I think that would be an extremely powerful ticket, a Obama AOC ticket. But we'll see. It's been like 6 weeks since the last one. Well, Kai, are you guys really, you guys counting? Like, is it that significant to you? It's a serious question. If Biden wants a black person on the ticket, he should choose Corn Pop. Very good. Corn Pop. My cat Puka says he's willing to be VP. Or Tulsi Gabbard. I doubt very highly that Michelle Obama would run with Tulsi Gabbard, but who knows? Just an FYI, we just upload MP4 to website and local player streams it on demand. No third-party hoster. Whoa, Amy. That's pretty crazy. Didn't Tulsi Gabbard suck for getting on the DNC bandwagon and look, they all signed this document that said no matter what happened, they would support the DNC candidate, which I think was a ridiculous thing to do. But, she toed the party line and, this go around, I just really tip my hat to the DNC Illuminati because they had a desired outcome and they accomplished it. And that's a very difficult thing to do. They were able to use this Russia stuff for about 3.5 to 4 years to distract everybody from the fact that they were the ones that were actually destroying our democracy by handing the thing to Hillary Clinton and having, Hillary's campaign run the DNC and all the rest of it. We don't have to rehash that. I respect anybody that can pull off a very complex, difficult endeavor, and they did it. So hats off to them. I don't really see what the Democratic candidates who are outside of the establishment could have done other than what Bernie and Tulsi did. Aside from everybody on the progressive side, the Andrew Yangs and the rest of those guys coalescing around Bernie, but Bernie is not strong enough as an alpha male to command that sort of action. So there you go. Wouldn't uploading content straight to your website make it so that any copyright claims would go straight to you if it's reactions rather than going through a third party? Yes. If we did it straight to the website, all the capital will go to us. The difference is that if you don't do it through YouTube, the way that you make money on videos on YouTube is that you advertise on them. So you basically sign a contract with YouTube and says, hey, you can advertise on our video. We get a cut. You get a cut. What happens is with these record labels is the cut that you were supposed to get gets funneled back to the record label and not to you. So if we did it on the website without it being on YouTube, then there would be no money being made on that video because there's no ads because we're not doing it on YouTube. However, for the catalogs like, because we have all the Guns N' Roses song videos. We didn't delete them. We just took them down. We just locked them. We didn't delete them. So we could presumably put all the Guns N' Roses videos there and then, and do it that way. So we wouldn't make any money on it, but as far as like the viewership goes, we would be able to let people see that stuff. Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is a phony. I didn't know that. I didn't really know much about her. She's really liked a lot by the establishment, and I don't trust anybody that's liked that much by the establishment. But what do you mean she's a phony? Bernie's cowardice and servility to the Dem establishment is Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged. Yeah, I've read a lot of Ayn Rand, and that's why I say current evangelical Christianity seems to be more inspired by Ayn Rand than Jesus of Nazareth. That's obvious. James Marshall. If you would make a supergroup alive or dead, who'd you put in it? I'd have Dio on Vokes. I would have Dime as lead guitar, Head as rhythm guitar, Cliff Burton on bass. I'm not sure who I'd have as a drummer. Not sure who I'd have as a drummer. What's up, Jeff? Love you too, buddy. Mudvayne, the patient mental. Sorry, my mom loves your baby. That's what Kenny referred to.
Thanks, Kenny.
The modern day Good Samaritan would shrug and ask, what's in it for me? Pass the collection plate. Exactly. The Gojira drummer. Man, I saw... Oh, Danny Carey. That's right. I think I would have gone with Danny Carey. Although I saw the drummer from Gojira live, and he is unbelievable. He's ridiculous. He's pretty ridiculous live. What's up, Becky? Portnoy on drums. What's up, Gaston? Isn't Gaston the bad guy from...
Beauty and the Beast?
yeah, Beauty and the Beast. Okay. My man Gaston. I didn't like that guy. He was like one of the real, like... I used to say to myself, why do I hate this guy so much? He's not even real.
He represented a very real group.
Okay, Kai. I didn't know it was like that. Okay, well, we'll have to work on that. Served in the GA legislature, take no money from special interests while taking money from special interests. Will say anything for a vote. Okay, I'm done. Suicide Boys, do you believe in God? Villavallo reaction. You should react to the Dana Carey drum cam of Numa. Lots of YouTubers have been reacting to it. Well, if lots of YouTubers reacted to it, what good it would be if we did it? We're not going to add anything significant. Love from India. Hope to see an A7X reaction soon. Jai! Inshallah, we'll get one to you soon, buddy. I hope everybody's staying safe through these times. Yeah, guys, you guys staying safe? You washing hands? You doing the social distances? You doing the mask thing? Come on, y'all. Very, very important stuff. Love your neighbor. I cannot wait till this website goes. She did such a good job. Oh, my goodness. Have you ever listened to Flogging Molly? No. Been begging y'all to react to Slipknot Eyeless for a year. Orion has such an adorable smile. He's such a happy baby. He is. He is.
And he's bossy.
And he's bossy. Very bossy. But I love him. What are some tough challenges you have faced as an interracial couple? How did your families react to each other?
How did our families? What do you mean, like as in our kids?
My family was completely fine. My mom's gone to be with the A and Soph. My stepdad's in New York. My bio dad is in Florida. He loves Sori. So my family was fine with it. I'm not going to comment on Sori's family.
Well, my family's very religious, I guess you could say. And so they were not happy that I even went through a divorce. And then, well, my mom is, she didn't have a problem really so much with it. Well, like basically all the other members of my family did. And so Vin was kind of like helping me out a lot. And I think that they didn't view that as a good thing. And I don't know if that's because he's black or if it's because it could have been anybody that I don't really know. I don't know if it was just, you know, I think honestly, I think my father's ashamed of me for going through a divorce, which is pretty hurtful, but I honestly think that that's the truth. And so I think that he maybe gets the brunt of it less, you know, maybe less than me.
I don't get the brunt of it because her family they'll not say things to your face. So I don't get the brunt of anything. She gets the brunt of it. But, you know, but as far as like, you know, I work a lot. And so a lot of our existence is in this house, this room. So it's not like we go outside and people go crazy or whatever. So,
well, somebody said, well, Vin's a Christian. They should have liked that. Well, yeah, Vin's a Christian, but he's outside of the norm of what normal Christianity is. I mean, the fact that we even do this channel, you know, my father, I think, knows about it now, and he's not impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with you. Divorced, 10 years in purgatory. Vin's a Christian. They should have liked that. Divorce is all the rage, though. Not black, shades of brown. Exactly. Maybe it's because Vin won't dance with Sori. That's true. Is this a full-time job for you? What did you do before? I did, you know, I did stuff before. This is I've got another full-time job in this, and then I'm working on something else. I'm working on about like 4 or 5 projects right now. So, you know, I work a lot. When I don't work, I find ways to work. So we work a ton. So does Sori. You work a lot. Sori's working right now.
You are so weird. I cannot figure you out.
Christianity is another word for restriction. I don't know about that, Elsie. To me, it sounds like freedom. Vince a hustler. I'm a hustler, baby. I just want to love ya. One is a music project, ain't it? Well, that's just what I do on the side at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. How'd that audition go? Yo, I killed that shit, son. I killed it. And then Corona killed my role. So there you go. You need your own rap album. I'll buy it. Yeah, we're actually going to publish a rap album very, very soon here. I got 2 songs that are very, very significant that we'll release as... we're going to do the whole music video thing, the whole 9 yards, everything. One of them you're not going to like at all, Leah, and the other one I think will be touching. You'll like it. You might even shed a tear. I'm hoping to God that you will do a review on it, because I think you're great. My mom is Christian as well and would not agree to this channel either. With respect to the ghost reaction, the whole blood and flesh of Christ thing seems very cultish. I agree with you. If it was any other human being of the 8 billion human beings on the planet right now that was saying the stuff that Jesus would said, you would immediately say that is a cult. There is a sense in which, obviously, in the most technical sense, that Christianity is a cult. If you're talking about religious rites and rituals and boundary markers, etc., all those things that are definitional of a cult in the philosophical, theological sense, it's undeniable. As far as whether or not Christianity is a sociological cult, obviously, I don't believe that it is. But, yeah, your point is very well made. What's your rapper name? I don't have a rapper name. I don't know. Yeah, it's just going to be Vin and Sori. Vin, your Arabic is really good. Did you go through a Muslim phase before becoming a Christian? Palestinian skeptic. No, I did not go through a Muslim phase before becoming a Christian. Although, I get accused of being a closet Muslim once a month or something like that. I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I'm a big fan of him. I love him. Listen to the Sirah literature. I listen to Sirah about once a month all the way through. It's 100. My favorite Sheikh Yasser Qadi. He's got a 100-part series that I thoroughly enjoy, and I worked with a lot of Muslims in one of my jobs, and I live around a bunch of Muslims in my area, so I'm a big fan of Muslims and Islam and all that jazz. Vin, when is your book coming out? Did I say I was writing a book?
Said it a bunch of times for a bunch of different things. Oh,
yeah, we did like 3 chapters in that book. I got to get on that. The book is what does wallahi mean? So it's wa, W-A. So wa means and ilahi would be God. So it's literally means and God, but it's basically like saying I swear to God, like this is the truth, like as you know. It's basically like saying I swear to God, basically. Rapper name Vindication. Just like Jesus sat with the sinners but was accused. Yeah, the difference is that when I sit with sinners, I'm one of them. Right? So I'm with you though. Testify. Yeah, it's a court term. Wallahi is a court term. Hey, Lori Pooh's in the house.
Hey, Lori.
I know. Lori Pooh is one of my favorite human beings on the planet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You have said that the entirety of the story in your head, you just have gotten to put it to paper. Yeah, that story's already been done. I've already mourned some of the characters and all that. Like it's a very, very good story. But yeah, I haven't put pen to paper, and I should. Maybe I'll do a reboot. I love you guys. Oh, Dr. Vin, Vincent, Vinamin, Snoop Vin. I'm curious about what your job is aside from you. I've heard you tell stories about it. If you don't feel like saying it, it's cool.
Manager. I'm just a manager.
I'm a people. Yeah, I manage people. Vin Lion. Have you read any Reza Aslan? What do you think of him? I'm not really a fan of Reza Aslan. The notorious VIN. I might put that in the line.
Yeah, that would be cool. Trying to get all these dates up there. Ugh. I'm so behind.
Y'all rappers can't see my pen. It's a notorious VIN. Ah! like that Radharani one? That's a good one.
That was my favorite.
Another favorite one.
That's my favorite as of late.
What do you guys think a biblical take on our current times might be? My biblical take on our current times is that the church needs to get engaged in the world and stop with this "we're going to get zapped out of here" nonsense, and actually look around and start caring about the people that we that Jesus told us to love, and that we need to join hands with anybody and everyone who's going to make this world a better place. Whether you're talking about healthcare, whether you're talking about creation care, where we talk about how we handle the vulnerable people in our society, particularly single women. I think that's what the Bible would have to say to American Christianity, and being against war and having an actual consistent pro-life ethic instead of a pro-birth ethic, and having a consistent pro-life ethic where we protect all human life at all stages of life. And I hope that we learn the lessons that COVID-19 is trying to teach us. So that's what I think the biblical take on our current events would be. Ben in the house. Why do you identify as a feminist despite actually being a textbook sexist? I don't know what you mean by that. Would you want to go to Valhalla? You know what? 5 years ago, James, Valhalla would have been like the pinnacle of heaven for me. But I've since sworn off all violence, so no. Have you met many Mormons in your sojourns? Yeah, I have. Why were the Guns N' Roses videos deleted? They were deleted because Guns N' Roses gave us a copyright strike, and 3 of those will get your channel destroyed.
Like, literally overnight, we could be gone.
Yeah. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Atoli Billah Shaitan Rajim. Tonight we dine with Odin. Very, 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 very. He's not a feminist. He is feminict. Huh? And stop televangelists. Yeah. That's the other thing. Stop the televangelists. How subjective do you think heaven is? Can Sori do a push-up? Yeah. Sori's gangster, man. When you see her in the gym, forget about it. Nobody can deal with her. The only person in the gym that works as hard as me is Sori. She works like crazy. People stop and stare at her when she's working out.
If you're not beside me. If you're beside me, they don't even notice how hard I'm working. Vin's like a monster. The little kids are like, and the grown men are like, people make the weirdest faces. Actually, the only group of people that doesn't really look at you that much is the women. I think they look scared. And the ones that look, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Don't get too bold, lady.
Do you honestly believe that God is perfect and makes no mistakes? Yes, little Miss T. Do you have any
little Miss T? That's so cute.
Do you have any apostate friends? Yes.
Aww,
Lori Pooh.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Lori. Have you done Plank That Song Challenge? No. What's the Plank That Song Challenge? I bet you were living in the Middle East for 10 years. Were you my neighbor?
Would you be my neighbor?
You wouldn't want me to be your neighbor.
Thanks, Lori.
Oh, if God decided to live amongst humans under the guise of a famous rock star, who do you think he would choose to be? Ozzy Osbourne.
Why? Why did you pick Ozzy?
Well, because he's basically
you can't just say Ozzy and drop that.
He's the god. He's the god of metal. He's the god. Smiling in my face, glad to break bread with the god. Most of my friends are apostates now, or Satanists. Corey Taylor, Rob Halford. Do planks while singing a song. Not easy. Well, it depends on what song it is. You know, if it's a 3-minute song, then, you know, it's all good. Being objective, who's the greatest band of all time? I got to give that to Ozzy. Tony Iommi. Just because all of that guy was writing stuff 50 years ago that people are still copying to this day. Forget it. It's over. It's over. Fasted. A lot of kettlebell, a lot of cardio. There's a kettlebell push-up combination that's done. That's a pretty brutal workout. But it's very effective, and it does the job for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Kai, it's not a like an obligation thing. I don't feel obligated. It's not that, Kai. Yeah, I'm not a real bench guy. What were we doing? Was it 205?
I can't remember.
It wasn't a lot. It was like 205. We did like 5 reps.
Closed for a while now.
We did like 5 reps of 15 at 205. Nothing really.
Lori,
nothing really
he's
big.
the same way. He eats 1 meal a day. Not me. I'm like, it's been an hour and a half. Like, I'm starving. He's like, you're not starving. Yeah, we were doing keto, but we kind of jumped off the bandwagon for a little bit here.
I'm convinced if you use Vin Laden as a rapper name, you wouldn't have to spend a dime for promotion. Vin Laden, get it? Yo mama Vin Laden. Have you watched The Death of Stalin? Was that the comedy one? Because we actually did watch the Death of Stalin. Because we've been mobbing. Back in the day, I'd have been shot him. Run up in your house like Vin Laden. Boy, I send you straight to Vrindavan. That'll work. That'll work. Just claim it's an Aladdin reference. I don't eat sugary drink. I don't drink sugary drinks, sir. When was the last time you see me drink a Pepsi? It doesn't happen. Nice try.
You've been drinking all kinds of orange juice. Stop it.
That's not a sugary drink.
That is a sugary drink.
No, it's not.
Then why didn't you drink it when we were on keto?
Look at this fire. Would you react to Infant Annihilator again? Yes. Death metal band. I have not found a favorite death metal band yet. I haven't found them yet. I haven't found my death metal magua. Hey, Sori, what were your thoughts when you started this channel, and how have they changed? That's a good question.
Okay. When the channel first started, I had no clue what was going on because I had never even heard of reaction channels before. And Vin was watching one, and I wasn't even really super familiar. I had heard some metal stuff, but I didn't really know anything really much about it, except it was like considered bad. Vin was like, hey, check this out. And he had a reaction channel up, and he was showing it to me, and I was like, what's going on? And then he was telling me, oh, these people are listening to it for the first time, and they're just reacting to it. And I'm like, okay. And then at that time, we thought that like you could actually make money off doing that. So he was like, they're getting paid for doing these videos. I said, what? And then he said, hey, for the heck of it, you wanna do one? Was it that day or the next day that we did it?
It was that day.
Right then.
Slipknot,
so that's when we reacted to our very first song, which was a Slipknot song. Which one was it?
It was Sick.
Sick. Yeah. So we reacted to it, and then like our phone, it wasn't long after it got posted, our phone got a notification saying that somebody like watched it, and we got a subscriber.
I know.
And I was like, what? We got a subscriber? And it was really, really exciting because I was like, how do people even find it? Although now I know the nature of metalheads. Like, they're always looking for reactors to listen to the songs that they've listened to and love and stuff like that.
Right.
So it all made sense. Shortly after that, we ended up meeting Leah. But anyway, that's just always stuck in my head that was way at the beginning. But anyway, so Vin was like, the next day or something, a couple days later, he's like, you want to do another one? And I'm like, sure, because it was fun. We were having fun with it. And then, people were putting in all these requests, and we started requesting, like we started doing a bunch of the requests, and then all of a sudden, like I hit a point where I was like overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many songs to react to and people are asking for so many songs. And it was weird
we
because...
had this paper that we were keeping... Remember the paper?
Yeah, there was a paper that we had all the stuff... And the list... At first, I was like, we're going to run out of songs if we're doing this all the time. And then I completely flipped and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many to do. We're never going to be able to catch up. And I'm kind of like a... If I can, I like to have stuff organized and like well done and like check everything off. And I started realizing that this list was growing bigger than we were. And so then we decided to start doing... I said, well, why don't we do 2 songs a day? And at first, our songs were getting copyright like things where they weren't going to monetize it. But we thought, well, the next one will get monetized. Well, the next one will get monetized. And then slowly we started realizing that like none of them were getting monetized. And so I was like, well, what are we doing here? But then we were getting a lot of positive feedback from people. And it seemed like people were really liking the conversation and we were having fun with it. So we kind of kept going with it. And then somebody was like, hey, you guys should start Patreon. I was like, what's that? And then,
one of our friends in Afghanistan. He was in the stand at the time.
Yeah. He was like, you guys should start Patreon. We were like, well, what is that? And then he kind of explained it to us. So we started Patreon, but we didn't say anything to anybody about it. And then like people started jumping on our Patreon. And I was like, well, that's weird. Like people are like actively looking to say, hey, I'd like to, partner with you guys. So that was interesting. I was always surprised as the different transitions happened. I was surprised with the way that people were with us kind of surprised me that people really seemed to really like it. And I wasn't surprised. Like, I've always seen people kind of flock to you, but I didn't know what was going to happen with like a metal channel, especially because I didn't like all the songs. And so I was like, oh no, people are going to hate that I don't like the song, but I'm not about to lie and say I like the song if I don't like the song.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised. Maybe I'm talking too much. Maybe you guys don't want all these details.
You're not talking too much. They want to do it. Go ahead.
But then I was like surprised by some of the content of the metal songs because I expected them basically to all be about like the devil. And then when they weren't all about the devil, I thought that was kind of weird. And then when there was like significant stuff like Daddy from Korn, or like there would be like songs that were about God. That was weird to me. But it wasn't about saying like it seemed like songs about your anger toward God. So it wasn't even about God not existing. It was about him, being angry with him. So I was like, okay, I can roll with this because at the time, we had gone through like a lot of difficult things. For Vin, it wasn't very as difficult as it was for me. It was extremely significant. I had gone through a divorce, which I said earlier, and the most of the people that I was surrounded with really, really kind of turned their back on people going through divorce. It was like not good. And there was like other circumstances and other things. And it was just a lot. And I think I felt pretty angry myself and I was hurt and didn't really want anything to do with Christian people. But at the same time, like I still, I was still like, well, God's cool, but people aren't. And so I really liked the metal community and the experiences that I got through the music. And I didn't really want to talk about like the Bible. Like I didn't want to go to church at that time. I just wanted to like, I don't know, just kind of take a break from all that. But in the videos, it kept coming up in these metal songs, like talking about God and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was okay with it in that element because it was like, well, I mean, these people are not trying to cram religion down my throat. These people are just talking about their experiences and it's coming up in the discussion. So I liked that. I was like, okay, I'm good with that. And then over time, I think that there was some bands I really liked and some of them that I was kind of like, I hate that. But then as my palette kind of grew for stuff, I started liking other songs more. And then then we started getting invites to shows where they were going to be fully funded. So we didn't have to pay for the tickets to go to the shows. And I had never been to a show. Like I had been to like a little Christian concert, but it really wasn't like a metal thing. There definitely wasn't anywhere near like the metal experience. And, I remember you were kind of like, there was like, you weren't sure like what I was going to be like at a show, like if I was going to like get into it or if I was going to be like awkward or whatever.
Yeah.
And like which show was it where they were like, there was like all that yelling and there was like cursing and like I was like getting right into it and you were like really surprised.
Well, that was Slipknot.
No. It was before the Slipknot one. We were down in the front. Well, we're always down in the front. We're on the left-hand side And there was, I can't remember what. Oh, die, motherfucker, that one. And I was like, just yelling with everybody, and like, even saying those words, obviously, from where I came from, was like horrible to say it, but it didn't have like a bad feel to it. Like, I don't know, it was really fun, and everybody was kind of like grouped together, and everybody kind of felt the same. And I was surprised to kind of feel that closeness with complete strangers and a group of people that normally I probably would have been like, let's just cross the street, you know? But then it was cool just to, I don't know, like the way that environment, because the metal community kind of looks really hostile, but then once you're there, you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't what I thought it was. This is actually a cool group of people. So that was fun. And then, you know, meeting people that had watched our videos, and people were like, oh, you know, like, I don't know, excited to meet us, excited to see us. And that was strange and cool all at the same time as well. But yeah, I guess it's been a journey, definitely. So they said, what did I think of it when I first started? What do I think of it now?
Yeah.
When I first started, I would get like so nervous, like to look into the camera, or I would forget what to say at the end, like, sorry, out. He was like, how difficult it is just to say you're out. Which, if you look at our earlier videos, you'll see those blunders in there. Now, it's just kind of like, it's what we do, you know. Every night, we come in here and we do a couple videos together. Yeah. And it's been interesting because there's like, we record every single day, 2 videos. So you're looking at least, you know, an hour and a half time where you're like sitting side by side recording. And obviously, if anybody's been in a relationship, you know that every single day is not like, yay, we're happy together. Yeah. So there's some times where I'm like, ugh. And we sit down and we have to record. Well, and then
the 11th hour song from Lamb of God actually starts with me saying, we just had a fight.
So, like, we'll be like in the video. And a lot of times while we're recording, like, it just kind of like.
Yeah. It smooths out after a while.
It does.
Look at this. I feel like the people flock to Vin thing is overhyped. Vin has a personality of toast, and he's sexist on top of that. The same is true for the Sori is beautiful people.
She isn't even Asian.
Ben is my favorite human being. All time. I love him.
I've noticed Sori roll her eyes and bump Vin with her elbow a few times. Actually, when I'm really mad at him, I don't want him to even touch me, so I'm more likely to move my elbow or, like, inch my chair away.
Whereas it a surprise to find out how much metal bands know and write about religion? Well,
it was a complete shock to me. Complete shock.
Behemoth.
I was just going to say, Behemoth blew me out of the friggin' water.
Nergal's understanding, like, the stuff that he talks about, you've got to be familiar with a broad swath of literature. It's not standard stuff. So that was very, very surprising to me.
I thought that... So growing up, when, you know, like, I was in a private school in one area, and then my parents moved us to another school that was kind of closer to their house, significantly more strict than the first one, and the first school would spank you. Actually, the second school would spank you as well. My parents never let them do that, though. But anyway, I never could, like, really get, like, accepted into the class because I wasn't there from the beginning. Like, they were kind of like, if you came... There was this verse that they would say, like, you know, like, if you left their church, it was like you were never really part of them to begin with. They used a verse and, like, twisted it around. So they kind of had this attitude that if you weren't there from the beginning with them, then you weren't really, like, in with them. And so even though they would be, like, nice to me, I always felt like I was kind of, like, kept out on the outsides, which was hurtful. And then we ended up homeschooling. And then when I was being homeschooled, like, people would talk to us and like us. I mean, our house was the most popular spot in the neighborhood, mostly because everybody else's parents were like, don't bring those kids over here, any of the other kids. So we'd have, like, between 13 and 15 kids at our house every day during the summer. But again, still, I did, on top of, like, our family. But even still, in that environment, I didn't feel like I was completely, like, accepted in. So every single group that I've ever been a part of, I never really felt like I was in. Even the group that you and I had done together, I didn't feel like I was in it. I felt like I was above it. Not as in like I felt like I was better than people, but almost that people were putting me somewhere else. So I just never really felt a part. And then I was surprised I expected the same to be true even more so of the metal community, because I grew up in a Christian home and I was like extremely sheltered. Like even now when I say I've never heard this song before, people will be like, yeah, right, you must have been living under a rock. Well, I mean, kind of. It was a very, very isolated environment. My parents really wanted to keep like a lot of elements out of our lives so we could kind of just have like a little childhood, I guess. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I was surprised at how much the metal community like accepted us in. By us, I kind of mean me, because I fully expected them to accept you, and you were a metalhead at one point. So I was really surprised to see that people were completely fine with that I had a religious background. In fact, a lot of people related to my religious background, and they were like wanting me to be introduced to more of the metal music. And I was very surprised. And like, again, I didn't feel like people put me like above them or outside of them. I just felt like I was part of the community, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I think one of the funnest moments for me with the channel was the first show we went to. We did Niabla Viscaris in New York, and somebody was like, "Hey, are you those people from the YouTube?" And that was a pretty crazy moment.
It
and
was.
Then, like,
my head felt buzzy.
Yeah, and then all these people started to like come around us.
Then it kept happening, and now I'm like, when we go to a show, I'm like, when are people going to come up now? Oh, hello there. I love it.
Why did you say sad, bro, in regard to the Tara Reid article? Well, the reason I'm saying it's sad is because it's becoming more and more evident that it probably happened exactly the way that she said. In a perfect world for me, she would be lying because not because I care about Joe Biden, but because it's a horrible thing to know that stuff like that continuously happens to people. So when it becomes more and more clear that the deniability is just not there, and a reasonable person could come to believe that something like that happened to that young lady, and she carried it for 20, 30 years by herself, is pretty sad. I think when these issues come up, like the surviving person is usually not centered. The surviving person is usually looked upon as basically a foil for either Democrats or Republicans, right? So if it's a Republican is the offender, then the surviving person is just a foil for Republicans, so they can say, oh, look at that, and vice versa. And we miss out on the fact that if what she's saying is true, then she was sexually assaulted. She was not believed. She was ran out of the where she was working. She was betrayed by an older person. She was betrayed by somebody that she looked up to. I mean, it's just horrible. And so, to me, a better version would be she just did it out of malicious intent to try to take down Biden, and it didn't really happen to her. But it appears that it did, and that's sad to me. It's just become so prevalent that people start to miss out on the fact that, what's being done to these people. I think it's terrible, and I think that our culture is really, really sick in the way that it handles these situations with women. So, and the other side of it is, if it's really true that it happened, and it looks very close to be that's the case, nothing's going to happen to Biden. He's going to get away with it. And the apparatus that put him in power are going to continue to support him no matter what. And now they're going to drag this girl through the mud or ignore her or whatever. And I haven't shot a lot of Middle America videos on it because I just don't want to talk about it. But it's a gut punch for sure, especially when you look at the way Alyssa Milano and the rest of these people are handling it. I'll tell you something. I saw I was at a briefing one time, and one of these people that was herding around these women when ISIS were doing their sex slave markets, one of the main players was a woman. And it's just crazy to me that women do that to each other. So to see Alyssa Milano and the rest of those people just, do this to this girl who they're supposed to, be. It's just a sad situation all around, to be honest with you. Really, really sad. Leah's vid. Yeah. After we get done this fireside, Sori and I are going to cut Leah's vid and then do what you want with it. Do you think defunding the pandemic team was a mistake? Yeah, I do. I think a lot of people on both sides made a lot of mistakes in this pandemic thing, and I just hope that we learn the lessons that we need to learn from it. What do you think is the correct punishment for someone like Joe Biden? Well, because I'm pro-life, we have to take the death penalty off the table. But I do think you should be in jail for life. You should be in prison for life if it's indisputable that you sexually assaulted a person. You should be in prison for life, because you know why? Those survivors have to spend the rest of their lives recovering and being healthy and doing good in the world. So there's no price too heavy in my mind. Or castrated. I'm not against the castration thing at all. What do you think about separating the artist from the art? Do you believe it's possible to appreciate a work by a controversial artist, presumably a bad person? Greetings from Brazil.
You know what I think I would do?
Go ahead.
I think that I would do something in our society. Like, okay, so let's say somebody who sexually assaults somebody else. Definitively you don't have any, it happened. I would castrate them, and then I would do something like some odd way of marking them. Like maybe whatever hand that is their dominant hand, like cut it like right here. Wherever it's like, people don't usually have those type of amputations. Amputate their arm right there, so then it's like obvious. Of course, then people would probably just kill them. I don't know. It's so complicated.
What's up, Arturo? Appreciate you. Yeah. Somebody asked a question. I forgot it. You don't believe in rehabilitation. I do believe in rehabilitation. I have to as a Christian. I just think that in a just society that we have to understand that there's more than one way to kill a person. And from the work that we've done, the survivors of sexual assault, there's a part of them that dies and never returns. And so while I do believe in rehabilitation, I'll actually default to the Son of Sam. The Son of Sam was a serial killer. Oddly enough, he was going around killing women. He found Christ in jail. And by all intents and purposes, it looks like the man had a genuine repentance, genuine experience with God. And now he's like a model citizen. And they asked him about 20 years ago in an interview, like, why don't you advocate, people trying to advocate to get him out? And he stopped them. He said, no, I did this. Me and God are good, but I need to pay a debt to society. And I don't want to show people that if you go around and act like a Christian, then you're going to get out of jail and they're going to suspend your sentence. So he actually was against the people that were advocating for his early release, some of which were his own prison guards, because he was such a model citizen. And I think that that's right. I think if a person did an actual sexual assault and was completely rehabilitated, part of rehabilitation is understanding the damage you've done to other people. You wouldn't want anything other than the full punishment that you deserve on the civic level. As far as you and God goes, great. You and God are good. Jesus died for your sins. He forgave you. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't bear a temporal punishment, if not just for the deterrent effect that it would have on other people that would think of committing that type of crime. I think sexual crimes against kids and against vulnerable women is not unforgivable, but it must be dealt with a lot more urgency in our society than it currently is. It's not dealt with the type. I mean, you see it. You saw it during Kavanaugh's situation. You see it in this situation. It's just not. People line up on party lines, and women are expendable depending on what your political your particular political persuasion is. And I think that once we as a society start really like cracking down on this stuff and taking this stuff serious, then we can talk about, positive rehabilitation. But right now, we just need to be punitive, in my opinion. A big part of who I used to be died when I was attacked. I still get nightmares, cannot tolerate being touched by strangers. But the other thing is I know that Cassia has worked in healthcare and is going around and doing good in the world. See, that's the problem that I have, is that you got people that are carrying around all these wounds, and they always seem to be the best of a given society. So while the rest of us are out, whatever, she's out there on the front lines being a healthcare worker, watching people die, but then she's got to carry this bullshit for the rest of her life. It just usually seems to be the best possible people who have not allowed it to turn them into, hateful, selfish, evil people. So it's infuriating to watch, that's for sure. You agree that man's laws are important as God's. Well, Grim, I think, when it talks explicitly about rape, it says this is like a situation when a man finds another man in an open field and kills him because there was none to rescue him. So the rape survivor is actually being compared to a murder victim in the Old Testament. And so in this situation, you got the death penalty for that. If in this situation, man's law, unfortunately, does not seem to be anywhere in the neighborhood of God's law as far as how seriously we're treating sexual assault. So, there you go. Hey, Historia. I'm so sick of seeing sexual assault allegations around election time. That's fair. I understand that, Death Fan. I do understand that. The particular situation with the Biden situation, though, was not a coordinated attack. What actually happened was Tara Reid was actually defending somebody else who had brought this up a year ago. She had brought Biden up on charges a year ago, and of course, she got lambasted. And this was a woman of color, by the way, who's supposed to be sacred to the Democratic Party. And everybody was, discounting this girl, not believing her. So Tara Reid jumped in and said, hey, this happened to me. So Tara Reid wasn't doing this like by herself. She was jumping in to defend somebody. And then the story snowballed from there. So, but I get what you're saying, though. There's definitely the political leverage that's being used. That's for sure. Didn't Jesus die for our sins, making God's law null and void? No. Because the only way you can define sin is by the breaking of a law, right? So when I say Jesus died for my sin, that means that by necessity, as Paul said, we uphold the law. So that Jesus' death on the cross doesn't make the law null and void. It makes the law ultimate, because it says, okay, Jesus is saying, look, I will bear their sins. And God is saying, even if you bear their sins and you're Jesus and I love you, then you're going to bear the punishment. So no, Jesus' death on the cross does not make God's law null and void. We would stone thousands of people, sarcast, according to the Old Testament. So that's why I can't advocate for the death penalty for a rapist, even though I got to tell you, if that happened, you wouldn't see me on the picket line against it. Do y'all remember the Democrats were angry, calling Trump an old man and saying he didn't sympathize with the young generation because he's old, and Trump in the end is the youngest 2020 candidate? Yeah, her mother also called the Larry King show in the 90s talking about something that had happened to her daughter. That's correct, Sebastian. That's correct.
Big nose, Daryl, it'd be so easy. We'd make Medicare for all and abortion illegal. So easy. Such a quick answer.
Yeah. The latest antibody studies in New York and LA have shown that we have completely overreacted.
We never did that video.
That's why I said we're going to do it after we do this.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other Leah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The latest antibody studies in New York and LA have shown that we have completely overreacted to this virus. The new mortality rate is looking something like 0 to 4.0, 0.4 to 0.1. Need to get the economy going ASAP. Well, MDeath fan, I hope you're right. And two, I'm glad that we overreacted. It is better to overreact to a pandemic than underreact. So I'm glad that we overreacted. Sure, we need to get the economy going, and I do believe not only for the economy's sake, but for people's own mental well-being, we're social beings, and so this kind of strange limbo that we're all in, where we're looking at each other with all this suspicion, and everybody's walking around with masks and stuff, is not good for our mental health. So, yeah, when we're able to get out in public again, that'll be great. Let's do it. But I'd much rather overreact than underreact to a pandemic. Sori reminds me of that lady typing at court. Wouldn't your stance as a pacifist compelling you would object to the death penalty? Yes, Glenn, it would. I'm just telling you where I'm at with people that commit sexual assault is emotionally, I am not where my convictions should take me. So there you go. It's not about the death rate. What's up, Gilfar Rodriguez? It's not about the death rate. It's about 5 to 10% needing intensive care in a healthcare system not able to handle that. Well, of course. I mean, that's why I said I am afraid that we're not going to learn the lessons that COVID is trying to teach us. One of the lessons COVID is trying to teach us is to say that you're only as healthy as the sickest person in your community. And when you have an economic situation where men are encouraged not to go to the doctor because they're not going to be able to afford basic care, then you're going to create a situation that's ripe for pandemics. And I think if the lesson that is learned in this whole situation is, well, we overreacted and next time we need to keep the economy open a little bit longer, and we need to not change our healthcare apparatus or anything like that, I think that would be absolutely disastrous, and the 45+ people who have died would have died in vain. I think there's a lesson here, and we need to think long and hard about what we're being taught by this. Number of dead in a couple months exceeds Vietnam death toll. Social distancing helps slow the spread. I don't think it's an overreaction. Yeah. I agree, Sarcast. I agree with that. But that to me is an argument for lesser to greater, which is basically to say, if you've got European countries that can't handle it while they have Medicare for all and people are encouraged to go to the doctor, how much more us in this situation if we get hit with an action, with a pandemic that's worse than COVID? NHS in the UK is handling the pandemic quite wonderfully. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but yeah. On average, during a normal year, 7,300 Americans die a day in the US. I understand that, MDeath fan, but obviously with this COVID situation, this was not normal. We're talking about, 2.5 months, and we've already superseded Vietnam for a very specific demographic in our country, right? The elderly. That's something important. And again, if you can, this is kind of a light pandemic, but if we don't change our mentality, what are we going to do the next time? Are we going to wait till something actually does take out 4% of the population? Will we then respond then? Or would it be wise to say, okay, God was merciful to us this time around. Maybe we need to really sit and think through what the lessons are and figure this stuff out before a real pandemic really comes and takes us out. Right? I think that's the
Tell me if my sound is going to come into the video.
yeah. Are you watching Peter Gabriel, Blood of Eden?
Mm.
That looks very spooky.
Sarcast said it's really good. Beautiful.
Love you, Amy Lee. I used to hear people say that if Satan punishes wicked people in hell, does not make him a good guy, and that made sense to me until I learned that in Dante's Inferno, he's getting effed up too. Right, Malixis. Jesus says he owns the keys to death and Hades, so that's his house too. If you escape what I escape, you being Paris getting messed up too. People are so afraid of death as if it is evil. That's why people oppose the death penalty. But if it absolves you of that sin, isn't that mercy? Well, it would be, but your death doesn't absolve you. Yahya. Your death doesn't absolve you of your sin. Only Jesus' death absolves you of your sin. So your own death doesn't solve anything. I wish the pandemic would teach us to stop being so tribal. Inshallah. Inshallah. Do you believe there are different parts of hell? I think there are different subjective experiences. I think there are different subjective experiences of hell. Don't you guys sleep? Not a lot. Have you discussed the Stone Ape theory in any of your videos? I did when I was on my DMT Joe Rogan phase. I don't know which video it was, though. People in their 30s and 40s are starting to show signs of stroke symptoms, which means there are neurological components to COVID as well. Correct. Thoughts on Tiger King?
James Marshall, I'm listening to a song that one of my patrons suggested me to listen to called Peter Gabriel, Blood of Eden. And the chorus is beautiful.
Orion has blue eyes. Yes, he does. Jesus died so that God would never wipe us out again, as far as I'm concerned. That's also true. I agree. I just hope our response doesn't wind up being worse than the virus itself. I can't take people seriously if they overlook. Well, yeah. No, we got to look at everything on the table. The Democrats and the Republicans both use this as an excuse to channel more wealth to the top 1,000 people in our country, which is going to have massive ramifications for the next 3 to 5 years. So I completely agree with you. And like I said, there are health concerns with social distancing as well. There are mental health concerns with social distancing. Suicides have increased, child abuse has increased, domestic violence has increased. So it's not as simple as just saying, just stay inside. I mean, there are some real issues that are going to have to be balanced and are going to take a lot of wisdom and a lot of, cooperation across party lines. And that's why I'm not a fan of going after Nancy Pelosi because of the ice cream stuff. And I'm not a fan of going after Trump because of the disinfectant stuff. Because I'm like, here we go. Even in a situation like this, we can't stop with the nonsense. I don't want this thing politicized at all. This is something that should, like Zonia said, get us to traverse these political tribal lines and actually work together to make sure that everybody's taken care of. But I'm just seeing business as usual as far as the politics go. Yeah, Orion is absolutely beautiful. He's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Do you believe in karma and strong coincidences? I believe in karma to a degree, but I believe, as the dude from Bono said, that grace trumps karma. Vin, Sori, important question. Godzilla or King Kong? I have to go with Godzilla, because of the band Gojira. Going to eat now. Good night.
Whoa, wait. I have to say.
Good night, too.
No, I'm going with King Kong. I
Really?
always like that story. Yeah. Because it's the Beauty and the Beast sort of thing again.
Mm-hmm. If both you, Vin and Sori, were over the whole education system in America, what would you change and what would you teach? I wouldn't really change. We homeschool our kids, so I wouldn't really change much.
I know what I would do.
What would you do?
I love this song, Sarcast. I would have professionals from each religion come in and talk about their religion. When we're doing that, like, instead of being like, okay, because if they're pushing evolution in the schools and then they just kind of throw in this is some crazy creationist, what they think, I wouldn't do that. I would have like the experts on evolution come in and speak, the experts on creationism come in and speak, the experts on all of my topics, so that way the kids could be more exposed to
varied understandings of...
Yeah.
This
is... I'm going to show Vin later.
Is that Sinead O'Connor?
I don't know.
Looks like her. She's actually pretty beautiful, huh?
Yes.
Very symmetrical, that young lady.
I'm very happy that you think that. And that you've told me that.
Here's Perkins. There's no such thing as experts on creationism. Dracula or Edward? Dracula all the way. Edward I could never take seriously as a thingamajiggy. Gustavo says you have beautiful hair.
Thank you.
Have you ever had anything happen and you just accepted that you deserved it because it was karma against you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vin or Sori? Sori all the way. All right, guys, we got 15 minutes. 15 minutes!
I wish I could have hung out.
Is the story written for all or ever unfolding? It's
right
written
now,
for all from God's perspective and ever unfolding from our perspective.
I always have to switch my shampoos and my conditioners because it starts like affecting my hair or my head weird. So right now I'm doing Pantene for my conditioner.
Have you ever wondered why they got rid of public executions? Some could argue seeing justice handed out to be beneficial in order to order in local communities. I'm not sure about that. This goes back to the last Fireside, homeschool Christian schools. You said there was no danger. Now there are people defying social distances because Jesus will protect them. So what, Tasco? There's crazy people all around. You can't blame that on Christianity. I mean, good night. Romans 13 tells them to listen to their government, right? So you can't blame that on Christianity. Good Lord. Which conditioner does Vin use? I don't know. Prison reform. What say you? I'm a big fan of prison reform. Nonviolent offenders, I think, is a pretty easy low-hanging fruit, right? You decriminalize every drug addict and you just criminalize the traffickers. And I don't mean like the street guys. I'm talking about the cartels that are the source of these things. You criminalize those guys, but you decriminalize all drug offenses. Where are the Bible boogies? They're held in a very secret location. Zonia 113 tells to question authority and denounce your government. Yeah, but if I went along with that, I wouldn't be questioning your authority, Zonia. I'd be going along with exactly what you say. Are we on Skype? I think we got a caller. We haven't had a caller in quite some time. Who's this?
It's Peter.
Hey,
oh, hey!
Sarcast. What's up?
I really liked that song.
I'm so glad you did. That's really cool.
That's
I'm gonna put it on for Vin later. Maybe he'll slow dance with me.
It'll never happen. What's up? What's up, Sarcast?
Oh, I just thought I'm calling in. It's been a while since I did.
I've missed your voice. You have such a beautiful voice, wallahi.
Thank you.
Doesn't it make you happy?
Yep.
What's up, buddy? What do you got?
Well, nothing basically. One thing, you talked about prison reform. There is a very, very beautiful TED talk about an American Jew with he's not liking Germany at all because of his uprising. But through some coincidences, he ends up in Germany anyway and studying the prison system. And he got back with a lot of surprises. And he changed his mind about Germany. And he did a wonderful TED Talk about what Americans can learn from German prisons. And I would advise everyone to give it a try. It's really great.
What's it called? What Americans learn from German prison?
Yep.
Learn from German prisons. There it is. Low crime, clean prisons. Lessons for America. Jeff Rosen.
Yep. A really great talk.
Okay.
Inspiring
I am putting
surprising.
that talk into the chat. Boom.
Nice.
There you go, guys. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, and on the other hand, we haven't talked since this whole COVID situation, the whole madness.
Yeah. How have you been? I know you had some family members that I was praying hardcore for. How are they doing?
So far, they're fine, and I'm really glad.
Excellent. Good.
And thank you, by the way.
No doubt.
I was wondering because I saw your latest review, and at the beginning, Sori said we are praying for this and that guy, and Peter. And I was wondering, is it me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, there are more Peters in Patreon, you know.
No, you're the only Peter.
Well,
you're the only Peter in my life.
No, there are a couple of Peters that we're praying for, but I actually pray for both Peters. You're one of them, and the other Peter.
Much love to the other Peter. I wasn't praying for you,
Sorry,
bro.
just be precise in your prayer, please.
I know. He might end up pregnant or something.
Oh, that's so weird.
Oh, good Lord. Goodness gracious.
Scott Flat. Is Scott in here?
And I'm sitting right in the middle of Europe, so if you have any questions how we are dealing or feeling, or anyone in the chat, have at it.
Yeah, how are the Europeans handling COVID?
Very differently.
What do you mean?
And I mean that not in comparison to the US, basically, but there are so many nations and so many approaches that we kind of look to each other very interested and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, Americans don't look at anybody. We're just like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, well, but even in America, the different nations try to start some different approaches, as I see it.
Yeah.
Some with some success and others with not that much success. But in the end, you have Sweden. They have a very unique approach. You have the madness in Hungary, basically shutting down the whole government indefinitely, by the way. This is true dictatorship, by the way. And he's showing his true sides, Orban, I mean, by using the crisis in that way, in that manner. That's frightening too.
Yeah.
So you have all of that. You have Erdogan in Turkey using it for himself too, and using the refugee camps for leverage. And the first month I thought this is getting us all closer together, but now it's really tough for me to seeing and witnessing this. It's all breaking apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even in my own country, you have the opposition, because we don't have a two-party member system, but more like 5 parties at the moment. And the opposition is now starting to realize that nobody needs them at the moment in such a crisis, and that the government is handling it pretty good because we are actually starting to loosen the lockdown as we speak. And we are one of the first countries to do so because our numbers are really, really down, which is good. And the opposition is basically coming up with stuff to make a lot of noise with no regards of what damage that does. I saw something so interesting about the media and how the media deals with the whole coronavirus situation. And the first time in a long, long time, the media finds themselves in a situation where there are no two opinions about the main subject. We all agree what it is and how dangerous it is, basically. So they find themselves in a situation where they can't have the kind of confrontation and outrage they used to have. It's the same, by the way, with populists, with like Trump and other persons who are used to deal and function on the basis of blame, and all that. And that's gone. At least it was for the last 4 weeks. And now it starts all over again. But the media started to invite the first person who was willing to go against the common sense. And they gave those people a big platform.
Yeah.
And that's really destructive. I mean, just to uphold their tradition of how they deal and how they manage a discussion and a debate. So
yeah, it's a very...
The one person who was willing to talk against all the others, and they gave them the biggest platform possible. So that's...
Oh, Anthony, I even forgot that.
Yeah, I'm usually like, hey, give everybody an opportunity, let them say their thing. But there are exceptions to every rule, and I just feel like in this situation, it's why I've been quiet about it as far as like not shooting official videos on it. It's because this is a situation where I really feel like the experts need to rule the day.
Yeah.
So like if you're not an expert in this given field that's pertinent to the situation, whether you're, a virologist or a pandemic response guy or whatever, like I genuinely don't want to hear from you because, everybody has these crazy political agendas. People don't know how to turn off the political button. And it's like people are willing to sacrifice other human beings for a political persuasion or an argument. And I'm like, okay, this is a time when you're supposed to turn that button off and shut the hell up and let the experts tell us what the hell to do so that we don't all kill each other. And you know what? If the experts overestimate the danger and we overcorrect, I'm okay with that. I'm better with overreacting to this issue than underreacting to it.
I'm with you.
Because,
but as you know, I'm also self-employed.
Right.
And a lot of people I know are too. And man, they're struggling hard, I tell you. They're really losing their businesses and desperately trying to come up with some kind of digital alternative for their business, and some succeed and some fail, and it's really not much you can do. So it's a very, very strange situation because half of the people I know are sitting at home and are bored as hell, binge watching Netflix and whatever. And the other half is struggling for their financial survival.
Yep.
And really hard.
Yeah.
And you see those two collide in some random WhatsApp groups of my friends, not public ones, private ones, where the ones are posting memes out of their boredomness and the others are basically crying for help. So that's really tough.
Yep.
But I was thinking about you, by the way, and the reason is, you remember we had our debates and talks about abortion, right?
Yep.
Yep. And abortion, for me, above all, is a collision of bodily autonomy from one side and the right to live for the fetus, baby, whatever you want to call it, on the other side. And my opinion was always that if you have two positions or two rights colliding with each other, the only thing you can arrive at is a compromise. And now we find ourselves in a very interesting situation, very similar, in my opinion, because you have on the one side the medical situation where a virologist basically says, okay, if it's up to me, all you people stay at home until this virus is down at a
manageable.
At a rate of, I don't know, less than 1.
Yeah.
And then you have the economy, and with their interests, totally against it on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And here we are trying to find a solution. But it's basically, you can make an effort to compare those two things. because we will have to find a solution, and it can't be either or. It has to be a compromise, a clever one.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but there's a pretty viral meme going around where you've got this right winger who's protesting, saying "My body, my choice."
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, of course, for me, the bodily autonomy argument doesn't work either way in any one of those situations, because for me, we already limit people's bodily autonomy when it comes to harming another human being. So, like,
Yeah.
I can't.
I saw a very good meme with this bodily autonomy guy on the one side, and on the right side, a terrorist with a bomb vest.
Exactly. Like I can't take my body and put you in a rear naked choke and kill you because it's my body. It's generally understood that your bodily autonomy is subservient to the life of another human being, and so I apply that across the board. So I don't, this is the thing that kills me about, I don't know if it's my team or whatever, but right wingers, the first thing they talk about is their rights in this situation, and it's like, well, what is your responsibility to your fellow man? Because from my worldview, our responsibilities take precedence over our rights. So my responsibility to you is more important than when my rights are. So,
and this all brings to the next big milestone in this whole journey. And I talked with my wife about it yesterday, and I said to her, things will really get funny if we have a vaccine. First of all, who has it first, and will he really share it or starting to use it as leverage?
Oh my! Immediately he's gonna. That guy's gonna be a billionaire, right? He's gonna hold the entire freaking planet hostage.
Nation itself. I mean, I'm not sure if you learn about this, but Trump actually tried to bribe a German institution, scientists. To actually deliver the first vaccine, if they have it, to the US, and if so possible exclusively. So that's nuts. Yeah. Basically to bribe them and buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
because he wants to be able to have a rally and say that he pumped $70 billion in the economy with this COVID stuff. And his
just imagine having the US having it first. And they just deliver it for 14 days, or let's say a month or something, and they delivered the deliverance to, let's say, China or Russia or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine what that does to the economy.
Right.
That's crazy. But funny as that is, that wasn't even my main point. But let's just fast forward into the future. The vaccine is everywhere, globally available.
Yeah.
But then the fun really starts with the people saying, no, I'm not going to vaccine myself.
Right.
Not my children.
Well, I'm already, because like I said, we're in the right-wing world, and I've got this whole group of people, and in their mind, this whole thing is a conspiracy to force people to take another vaccination. Like, that's their whole thing. And they're like, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking it, blah, blah, blah. So now you've got a real issue of, okay, well, this guy's got bodily autonomy, this lady has bodily autonomy, but then at the same time, they could be reintroducing a virus that could be potentially fatal to literally millions of people. So what do you do? Do you say, hey, like for me, for example, there was some legislation in Maine where it basically said, if you don't want to vaccinate your kids, that's fine. You just can't go to public school. And I support that. Right? To me, that's a great compromise. You don't want to vaccinate your kids? Great. That's you. Fine. But your kids can't go to public school. And people were saying, this is terrible. This is big government. Da, 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 da. I said, it's not big government. Big government would be, we're going to go into your house and vaccinate your kids against your will. These people are saying, look, public school is a public domain, man. And if you don't want to vaccinate your kids, fine. Just keep them inside then. That's a good compromise in my mind. But with this COVID thing, man, I'm with you. If these people say, "Hey, we're not gonna play ball, and we're not gonna get vaccinated," that's gonna create some really interesting situations and discussions, and then we'll really press this whole bodily autonomy argument, and let's see how consistently people want to apply this bodily autonomy stuff.
So I think really we have some very difficult stages ahead of ourselves, and it will be very tough to handle, and it should be handled very delicately. And I hope whatever government you will have at that point, that they are aware of the uniqueness of the situation, even try to handle it that way. But man, I'm not so optimistic. You know, I am an optimistic guy, but
Yeah, me too, man. When I read these people, some part of me is like, how much of this is just you're bloviating on Facebook and Twitter, but in the real world, if there was an actual cure, you get it in secret, but then go on Facebook and talk about how you're not getting. You see what I'm saying? Like when people are faced with their own mortality, like would they really go through with it? Like, I'm fine. If you want to go on Facebook and act like you're this big anti-vaxxer hero, great. But I don't know, Peter, like how consistent they would really take it. You know what I mean? Like, you're really gonna... Go ahead.
Look at Johnson. He got it.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a double sense. He got it, and now he got it.
Yep.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
He won't talk bullshit anymore. It's not like Trump who has the in quotation marks the freedom to go public and say, yeah, I think masks are a good thing, but I won't wear them, of course, but I'm too cool or what the fuck or whatever.
Yeah.
Because don't lead by example. No, it's really important that you stay cool.
Yep.
So I don't expect that from Johnson anymore, because it was really close for him. It was a close call.
Yeah.
And you see gratitude, and you see that he got scared. So that's a game changer for him, definitely.
Yeah.
But let me ask you another thing, one last thing, more, let's say, out of politics. A lot of people actually talk to me. And I feel myself, I find myself in the same situation, that I actually, on some level, enjoy this lockdown situation. And what I mean by that is, it's all so much slower and quieter and somehow, I don't know, healthier in some way. All the hectic, all the stress, all the madness is wiped away from the streets. So we came up with this mad idea that maybe we should do that when all is over on a completely voluntary basis. That, let's say, 1 week, every second month, we dial it all down for 1 week for everybody to regenerate in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's biblically it's a concept of Sabbath where you don't work, and you're supposed to sort of take stock of your life. It was funny. My boys and I, we have this thing called the Man Study. We were talking about relationships, and I was talking to the boys about the different phases that people talk about, the honeymoon phase and the this and the that, and I said, relationships are not linear. They're cyclical, and they happen in seasons. And sometimes you have a spring season when there's a bunch of life everywhere and yada, yada, yada. And then you go through kind of wintry type of moments in your relationship. And so they were saying, well, what's the point of the gray days? And I said, well, the gray days are important because it gives you time to kind of like not disconnect from each other, but really you have more time for solitude because you're not on top of each other all the time, like in the honeymoon phase, and you're able to take account of yourself, as an individual, and in relation to your wife, and in relation to God, and it's a time. It's actually a good time if you know what's happening. And I think in this situation, I think it's the same thing where it's like you've got the Western world is the most advanced version of humanity we've ever had. But at the same time, we're all, we talked about this collectively, we're still in our adolescence, right? And so being able to pull back from all of our advancements and just sit in solitude and silence for a while, and even be able to like not have to worry about going to work and all those things, get that off the table and be able to just be a human being and figure out what the hell that means, I think is I would love if we were able to mandate something like that. And I think in the future that I envision, because you know we're both pretty aligned on the idea that we're going to get better eventually.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to be built into societies and schools and all those different types of things. I think those are going to be necessary elements. We're going to figure out that just being productive and work, and producing all the time, um,
Mhm.
which even in non-capitalistic countries, it's kind of a similar ethos. But I think we're going to figure out that we get more bang for our buck as human beings if we can have a balance between work and rest. And I think that's going to be
Well,
a major. I think this is going to be controversial, but I think the ability to rest and having extended periods of time for rest and solitude is actually a human right, and we're not there yet. But
yeah.
I do think people are going to start to figure out that this is a human right, and that this is one of the lessons that I hope that we learn from COVID, and that
Well,
we
two
carry
things
on.
about that. There's a huge cultural difference already, and I'm not even sure that all your listeners are aware of that, all the Americans that are listening at the moment. And what I mean by that is the first is sick leave. I only recently, in the last years, really understood the differences in American culture. That if you actually call in and say, "Hey, I'm really feeling terrible. Um, I'm not going to make it today. I have to stay at home." That this is a shameful thing. That this is stigmatized and not not. It's really something you don't do actually. So there's a culture of getting to work sick, which is a
Yeah,
double problem with this new virus, by the way.
100%.
This is unheard of in my country and in Europe because you paid sick leave. So if you're sick, you're staying at home. Actually, you have the other kind of problem that people are faking to be ill so they can stay at home. So that's the other way around,
Yep.
which the US is so far away from that's not even an issue. But the second thing is, and I'm interested if you knew that all stores, everything is closed on Sundays in Austria and Germany at least.
Whoa.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
So you can't go to the supermarket. It's everything. Everything is closed. So this state of winding down, of being able to take your bike and go on the street because there's almost no traffic, that's every week on Sunday. And there were big discussions in Austria as well as in Germany from the side of economy to open up the Sundays for business because, of course, can make a huge business. It's a
Yep.
whole thing you're missing. But the citizens were actually really strong against it because it's really healthy spiritually for everything to being able to wind down on one day of the week. And there are some crazy laws because you're not allowed to make a lot of noise on that day too. So you can't renovate your whole apartment on Sunday. That's not in the books. It's really embedded in our culture, and of course, I think you've already done the math. It's coming from religion, basically, because Sunday
Yep.
was the day, the day of God, and you're not allowed to work. And
Yeah.
we took it, and of course now it doesn't have this religious background as it used to have, but it's still part of our culture. So we are one step already ahead or behind, depends, because we're willing to not earn the most of what's possible in order, it's already compromised, in order to being able to relax one day in the week. It's not noisy and it's not madness out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's healthy for families. So I think in Europe, it would be more thinkable or possible because you have, by the way, 5 weeks of paid vacation here in your business. So that's a lot of freedom too. So I think it's possible that you think it through and say, yeah, let's learn from all of this and let's rethink what happens if you tweak your economy like a car to always run in the red section in the last 1 or 2% before the motor blows up, actually, because that's what we're facing now. If you look at the financial market and everything, everyone tells you, yeah, a correction was overdue because the values were all overhyped and whatever. So, of course, if you hit such a delicate and overstressed system with a crisis like a coronavirus, it completely crumbles because it's tweaked for high performance and not endurance and not crisis, you know. It's only tweaked for one purpose only. That's what I see when I look at the U.S. Medicare situation.
Yeah.
It's not about the greater good, and it's not about looking at the weakest links in the system and everyone watching for each other. It's about maximum profit in every corner. You can afford it or not, and if you can't afford it, take up another job.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I got to get out of here, but it was very, very good to talk to you, Peter.
Yeah, likewise.
See you soon, buddy. All right, guys, we are out of here. Thank you for hanging out. That 2 hours went by really, really quickly. Did you know that was 2 hours? It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Why did you get to visit?
Yeah, next Bible Boogie. Next Fireside Sori will be more what do you call it? I think that Zonia might be doing a thing on her thing. I think Ranter Matt. What's up, Evan York? Next time, buddy. I think Ranter Matt maybe be doing something. Zonia usually does like a post live stream. So there you go. Alan Thompson in the house. Ben Webb in the house. Thank you guys so much. We love you all very, very dearly. We appreciate every single one of you beautiful people. And I must bid thee adieu. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.